You guys see that? I know what you guys are thinking. Am I building a WlToys tower out here? Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. Good guess. That's why I think I got the new king of the tower. This is gonna go on top here. Eventually, I think this will destroy in price and spec everything I have here. This is the Remo Hobby. Here we have a couple WlToys. Here's another one. I never even unboxed this. So I have a whole bunch of WlToys to compare this new king of, I think, the WlToys Budget Busters right over here. This one right now is only 85 bucks on Banggood. It is a bargain. I think the price actually dropped in the past couple days. In this video, I'll be doing a full in-depth unboxing and first impressions on the way this was shipped and the way it's equipped. We're gonna go over some of the electronics features, and I'm gonna talk about what's interesting and unique about this model. Now, just in case you guys wanna know how this compares to a high-level RC of this caliber, I also have a Losi Mini 8. This is a really fast modified one. I'm gonna show you guys the chassis in a little bit. This runs a brushless system. This is $280 right now, brand new. Now yes, it comes with a brushless system, but this comes with a 550 size brushed motor. This particular one, I've never driven it on my channel. Can you guess why? It's got a strip diff. What's very interesting is, if you guys look at the chassis on the Losi, it's an aluminum pan chassis. This is the first WlToys of this level that I've seen that also has an aluminum chassis. Oh, I got all my tower of RCs here falling. Oh, in terms of speed, I did watch one of my YouTube viewers and another YouTuber, RC Voodoo. He did some speed testing on this. He got 71 kilometers an hour, which is 11 kilometers an hour faster than the claimed speed with a 3S pack. That's basically 44 to 45 miles an hour with a 3S small battery pack. I mean, that speed is very, very good for something like this. I think it is safe to say that this might be the first WlToys you do not need to upgrade right out of the box. We're gonna unbox this right now, check out the suspension, look at the electronics, check out how it's actually shipped. Let's open up the box. The RC seems really well protected, nothing weird here. First thing I noticed, the charger. It comes with a USB style charger, which is really interesting because typically a lot of these RCs come with like the wrong plugs. If you're in America, you get the European style plug. It's a whole mishmash type of stuff. You wind up never using one of their chargers. The back of the charger tells us the charge output, so it's 2 amps per hour, which is pretty good. Normally these small chargers could do about half an amp to 1 amp at most. We have a regular plastic wheel wrench, of course the instruction manual. This must be the radio, judging by the steering wheel coming out of the box, right? Gotta have the steering wheel if you want a remote. Let's take it out. This is just a regular 2.4 gigahertz unit. You know, I say regular as if it's something bad. This is pretty functional. It has a nice foam steering wheel. You have your throttle, dual rate, steering, dual rate, on, off. And let's see how many batteries this actually takes. This is what matters. 4 AA batteries, really good. Some remotes take 2 or 3, but 4 is really where you want it to be for longer battery life. The car itself seems to be really well packaged. There's pretty thick cardboard all around the wheels. Let's see, if I remove one, should probably just slide off. Yep, there you go. There's nothing inside here. These are just protection for the wheels to make sure the box isn't crushed. Here we go. Really simple, convenient style packaging. And the thing just comes out like this. This is literally all there is to it. Here we see the nice aluminum pan chassis, anodized what looks like a bronze color. All the screws are countersunk. The body does have a layer of thin protective film on the outside to protect it, as does the wing. Let's remove it from the wing actually so we can check this out. This is like the best part, removing your screen protector when you get an overpriced phone, right? This thing has a good amount of weight to it. It is definitely not as light as almost every other WlToys I've seen. Look at these beautiful shocks. These are probably some of the best aluminum shocks I've seen on a WlToys. Actually on any RC under 150 bucks. Out of the box, the suspension is pretty well dampened. As I go like this, nothing weird is going on. It's not that bouncy. The rear does seem a little bit under dampened, but the front, I like how it feels. Eventually you can rebuild these shocks. They are oil filled, which is a first for a WlToys, and hopefully they don't leak, but they seem to be pretty good. I don't see any oil spots around the shock ends or bottoms. Nothing is weird or out of place here. As I push it all the way down, the front part is actually not hitting the table here. There's still a little bit of space, I would say a couple millimeters. If you want, you could put in rubber O-rings or fuel line right on the shock shaft, and that will reduce some of the impact to the shocks when it's landing. Normally you put in like, you know, I would say 5 millimeters of fuel tubing on your shock shaft to prevent any of that from happening. Time to remove the body and see the massive 550 motor this thing is hiding. Okay, here we go. The first time look under the hood. 550 cam size motor. You guys see the size of this motor? Yep, I'm gonna keep saying it, I know. It's basically half of the chassis of the car itself. When you're thinking of overpowered, is there such thing? No, we definitely know there's no such thing as overpowered. But this is definitely close to being overpowered. Now, WlToys are known to having huge motors. That is basically what they became popular with. But never have I seen a 550 size motor in a 14 scale RC. Another notable feature is this aluminum link for the steering mechanism. Really important upgrade. This is probably one of the first things you want to do to any WlToys, but in this case, it's already good. The included battery pack is not massive by any means. This is a 1500 milliamp hour 2S pack, but not the end of the world. What's really nice, and this is actually the first time I've seen this in a WlToys, the battery tray. You guys see this little bracket here? It is adjustable. If you look at the bottom of the chassis, there are 2 screws that could be inserted here. This is where you can move your battery compartment to. Basically, you can install a much larger size battery in here in case you're going to want to be getting a 3S lipo, or you know, you want to look for a more standard size. This is like a really short lipo. It does the job, but in case you're going to be getting a 3S, you know, there's not that much height here in the chassis. This is really nice because you could extend the battery tray way out further over here. Really cool, interesting feature. This is something that is kind of typical on larger RCs, especially that are 4S powered, where you need a lot of adjustment and battery space for the large batteries that these RCs run today. Just like every 8th scale buggy, this has aluminum hinge pin braces in the back, in the front, and all the way around. You guys can't really tell right here, but it does have an aluminum hinge pin brace here, basically all the way around. You're not gonna have any problems with hinge pins popping out, coming off. Hopefully they won't bend, but this is not a particularly heavy RC. It does have some weight, so it's gonna be very interesting to see this thing drive, but out of the box, I really like it. In the back here, you have an aluminum motor mount. You have an aluminum center drive shaft. Also, one thing you never really need to upgrade. This is already as good as it's gonna get. The steering system also has an integrated adjustable aluminum servo saver, another really useful, nice upgrade to see. With the front wheel removed, I am very happy to say this has standard 12mm wheel hubs. These are a couple of wheels from my 10th scale RC. These are drift wheels. I'm gonna mount one. This has, once again, a basic 12mm wheel hub. Look at this. You could easily just stick these on, and you're good to go. You don't need any kind of wheel upgrades, nothing necessary. You have regular pins. You could get aluminum ones if you want, but this is perfect, you know. On these cheaper WlToys, the wheels are always a disaster because they use non-standard wheel hubs. You have CVD axles in the front, and of course metal drive shafts all around, and dog bones in the back. So this thing has a basically complete metal drivetrain. For a 550 size motor, that's exactly what you want. The wheels themselves seem to be really well glued. I don't notice any kind of inconsistency here at all. The only thing I can't tell if these are foams inside or not, or if these are just basic air pneumatic style tires. The rubber compound is extremely soft. This is a really nice sight to see for something like this, and I actually like this black design dish style wheel. I've got both of these side by side. Let's remove the bodies on both and check out what the Losi actually has to offer. Keep in mind, this particular one, brand new, was $280. This one is also highly modified. It's got probably close to $200+ in extra aluminum upgrades on this chassis alone. It also has a brushless VXL 380 size motor from the Mini e-Revo. This runs a 3S lipo. You see this aluminum steering link? This was an upgrade. This was not factory on this $280 RC, just like it is on the WlToys. Now, of course, this is a really good looking item here. It's really nice, but in terms of functionality, this performs no differently than the aluminum parts on the front of the WlToys. Let me just call it what it is. In terms of the thickness of the aluminum on the shock towers, they are exactly the same thickness. Frankly, I'm a little bit surprised that WlToys went with such a nice thick aluminum shock tower, and this factory one is basically exactly the same, so no differences there. Now, of course, the most recognizable difference is, you know, the Losi is a little bit longer, even though they're both 14th scale. If I line the wheels up back to back, yeah, you could tell that this is basically about 2 inches longer. Overall, they are not that far off in terms of chassis layout, you know, other than the size. In terms of cost, I would say this one right here, all in, is a factor of 5 times the WlToys. Now, is this 5 times better? I'll tell you right now, it's probably not even 1 time better. Also because, you know, I do have a strip diff here in the back. In terms of shocks, yes, the Losi has pretty good shocks. Now, I don't know what oil is in here, but, you know, they are fairly smooth. I would honestly call this a little bit too over-dampened. WlToys is a little bit under-dampened, but it's fully adjustable. There's not going to be any issue here at all. What I think should be upgraded here, honestly, I can't see anything off the bat that needs upgrading. You already have a massive 550 size motor. I mean, just look at the motor size difference alone. Yeah, this is a brushless, of course, but to be honest with you, when I ran this, I was able to get about 40 miles an hour with a 3S system in here with a fairly good VXL brushless motor. As I move the wheels back and forth on the Losi, this is the slop that I get. Let me do the same thing on the WlToys. I would say it's probably about the same, if not less. Now, I'm moving the wheels to make sure I don't actually move the servo, and it seems to actually be maybe a little bit more on the Losi Mini 8, which is pretty weird because this has already upgraded RPM links, aluminum suspension parts in the front, and this is a stock $85 WlToys. You guys see what I'm talking about? Just to put it in perspective for you how large this 550 size motor is for this chassis, I've pulled out my old HPI E-Savage. This is the electric powered twin 550 size monster truck. Check this out. What I'm saying is, this thing has dual 550 can motors, and this little tiny RC has one 550 size can motor. Do you guys see what I'm talking about? Let me just hold them up side by side, and you could tell for yourself whether you think a single 550 size motor is enough for something like this. This is basically a 20-year-old RC here, but it runs 2 of the same motors that this right here runs. Not only is the size completely ridiculous, you could see that, this is about maybe 5 times heavier than this WlToys. This is basically a factor of, I would say, maybe 4 times more powerful in terms of power to weight compared to this old HPI E-Savage. I still love this truck. It is actually very, very rare. I've crushed some of my least favorite WPLs with it. Take a look at what I mean. Let's turn on the electronics, test out how fast the steering servo is. Okay, here we go. Wow, hell, whoa. What is this thing doing? It's so fast, oh my god. You guys see that? I don't think a steering servo upgrade is something you're ever going to need. This thing is fast. Let's check out the throttle. Alright, you've made it to the end of the video. I'm going to cut it here. It's already getting a little long. This was a very in-depth unboxing and first impression of this WlToys. There will be a lot more on this in the future. So stay tuned, comment, like, and subscribe. Don't subscribe, just watch. See you later.